Yeah. Okay, Ali?
Yeah.
Prananda, good afternoon. We're now at the reconvened meeting of the Standards hearing today in relation to Councillor Andrew Barry. This is the fourth stage where we, having decided on the issues, we give our formal decision. Before I decide, I just announced the announcement. I can just say that Councillor Andrew Barry, in the third stage, decided he did not want to attend this afternoon's process at stage 4. But we do have representatives from the Ombudsman's offices here, and I now formally announce the decision that we have made in relation to the facts and the evidence that's been presented to us in today's hearing. In relation to the breach of code conduct 4B, that states that you must show respect and consideration for others. Having listened to all of the evidence and all of the mitigation, is our decision that that case against Councillor Andrew Barry is proven. Secondly, in relation to an allegation of breach of conduct 4C, which says you must not use bullying behaviour or harass any person. Having listened to the evidence on the mitigation, the committee find the case proven. And finally, in relation to breach of code of conduct allegation 6.1 subsection D, which states that you must not make vexatious, malicious or frivolous complaints against other members or anyone who works for or on behalf of your authority. Having listened to the mitigation and the evidence presented, the committee find it proven against Councillor Andrew Barry. I will now ask Mr. Philip Morris, on behalf of the investigating officer, report for the Ombudsman to make any summations in relation to sanctions.
Thank you, Chair. You'll be familiar with the options available to you as an experienced committee, but just as a reminder, you may decide that no action needs to be taken given your findings, or that Councillor Barry should be censured, or that a suspension or partial suspension should be applied for a period not exceeding 6 months. You have, I think, before you in Appendix 7 of your pack, the Judication Panel for Wales guidance in terms of sanctions, and you will no doubt take those matters into consideration. You will have heard Councillor Barry earlier telling you repeatedly that he no longer really wanted to engage with his role as a councillor and was either soon or imminently going to leave that role. He clearly remains a councillor as of today, and as my understanding is up for election next year. So there remains 12-14 months or so before that period comes to an end. Whether or not, of course, he decides to resign in the meantime is, of course, a matter for him, but it may be relevant to your decision on sanction that there is a further 12-14 months to go in his current tenure. You may consider some of the aggravating factors that are at page 15 of your guidance from the W to be relevant in this case. Perhaps foremost in your minds may be whether or not Councillor Barry has expressed any remorse or reflection or understanding of the breaches that you have found him to have committed. You will recall him this morning having repeatedly minimised his conduct and there being some difficulty in him accepting the effect of his words and conduct on those concerned in the matter. You may consider that there was an element of refusal to accept the facts, despite clear evidence to the contrary. In fairness, Councillor Barry didn't technically challenge the findings of fact, but there was clearly some attempt by him to circumvent them or to explain them away in some way that perhaps was not in accordance with the documents that you have before you and the clear evidence from the emails themselves. In terms of previous findings, whilst again Councillor Barry referred to other referrals to the Ombudsman's office, there are no previous findings of breaches of code of conduct against Councillor Barry, so none for you to take into account in that respect. And of course, you will no doubt take into account the matters he has said to you this morning in terms of any mitigation that you consider to be relevant to the relevant sanction. So beyond that, Chair, and unless there's anything particular you'd like me to assist you with, that's what I would say on behalf of the Ombudsman in terms of sanction.
Can I just thank you for your representation to both of you who've been here today, and again, once again, in the way you conducted your presentation, the manner in which you conducted yourselves. It's been very good. Thank you very much. And there's no further things unless committee members would want.
There was one thing I was going to ask, if you don't mind. You mentioned obviously page 15 and aggravating features. Does the Ombudsman have any mitigating features that you'd like to put forward?
Yeah, well, in fairness, those were examples of those are set out page 40 of your guidance. I'm just going through them myself to see if there's any particular that might be relevant. Councillor Barry would no doubt say that part of his motivation behind his actions was expressing a political view of an honestly held opinion, and as the guidance suggests, albeit those views might be intemperately expressed, that can nonetheless be a mitigating factor if you consider it to have been what he was seeking to achieve. Some of those mitigation factors clearly are absent here, such as an apology, recognition and regret as to the misconduct, any consequences, self-reporting the breach. There was, to some extent, a failure to cooperate with the investigation officer because he didn't engage in the request for interview. Having said that, you may think that Councillor Barry's recognition of the fact that he no longer wants to participate actively in his role as a councillor may have an impact on your decision on sanction, but beyond that, I don't think I can really assist any further.
Yeah. All that's left for me to say on behalf of standard committees. Thank you for your presence.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Chair, I don't know whether you require us to stay in.
No.
Due to this, the decision will be communicated in the usual way anyway.
Exactly. What we'll now do, we will now, with our officer here, do what we do and come up with a decision, and it will be communicated to yourselves, the Ombudsman's office, and indeed to Councillor Barrett.
There we go. No disrespect intended then if we leave. Thank you very much.
Yeah.